Welcome to another installment of Turn Up the AC Hot Takes with Reason on a solo edition. It is upon us now. Undisputed versus undisputed. Super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez comes into this fight with 59 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws with 39 wins by way of knockout. Jermell Charlo, the undisputed champ at super welterweight, comes into this fight 35 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw, with 19 wins by way of knockout. Both fighters made weight. They both weighed in at 167.4 pounds. This is the first of 3 fights for Canelo on his deal with PBC. Initially, he was rumored to be facing Jermall Charlo, but after a couple of days of that being the rumor, it was brought to light that it's actually Jermell Charlo who's facing Canelo, and let Jermell Charlo tell it. He's the one that's gonna beat Canelo. He said he's always wanted this fight. He's always felt he was the guy to get Canelo out of there. So we're gonna find out come Saturday night who really is, what really is what. Because, everybody could say this, everybody could say that, but we're gonna find out when these two men get in the ring and get it on. Now, before we get into the fight, I've always been very critical of Canelo Alvarez with the way he's been moving the past few years. Fighting the likes of the John Ryders of the world, the Triple G, the third fight. Nobody wanted that fight. Avni Yildirim's, the Caleb Smiths, the Rocky Fielding, those types of fights that Canelo was going to win. Those guys don't have a chance against him, right? So that's why I'm critical of Canelo, because he's too good of a fighter. He's a great fighter. So he is judged differently. Like a lot of, top all-time athletes, they're judged on a different curve than the average athlete. That's just the way it goes. When you're that great, we need to see you in the ring with great fights. And that's exactly what this fight is between Canelo and Charlo. This is a great fight. I believe it truly is a 50-50 fight. But I say that it's a truly 50-50 fight. But if both men are at their best, at their A game on Saturday night, come fight night, Canelo's winning the fight. Because I think when both men are at their best, Canelo is greater than Charlo. And that's not a slight to Charlo at all. I'm a huge Jermell Charlo fan. I rock with the Charlos. I've always wanted Canelo to fight them. I always thought he was ducking Charlo. And I'm not because he didn't think he could win. I just, for whatever reason, he just avoided the fight until now. But that doesn't take away from Canelo's greatness. I still always believe, and to this point right now, I still truly believe if both fighters are at their best, Canelo wins. Recently, in his past few fights, a lot of people have said that Canelo has slipped a little bit, that he's not the same fighter he used to be. He lost a step, and truthfully, he hasn't looked that great in his past, few fights in the past couple years. Against Ryder, he didn't look great. He should have got Ryder out of there. Against Triple G, he didn't look great. He should have got Triple G out of there. Against Bivol kind of got the better of him. Decisively. Canelo hasn't looked really good in the fight to me since Caleb Plant. And then before that, I didn't think he looked great against, what is his name? The super welterweight champion, Southpaw. He fought him a couple years back. Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah, sorry, I couldn't. His name slipped my mind. Yeah, he didn't even look that great against Billy Joe Saunders, but Saunders has no power for Canelo, so Canelo was easily pulling that win off. So now let's talk about this fight, man. It should have happened years ago. Let's be honest, but I'm glad it's happening now. Jermell Charlo comes in with an impressive resume. He's undisputed, as I mentioned, at 154. Cleaned out his entire division. Fought Castano, had a draw. KO in the rematch. Rosario, knockout. Tony Harrison, controversial loss in the first fight, fought him again, knockout. Austin Trout, Erickson Lubin, like those are just the names that Charlo ran through in the division to cement himself as the undisputed champion at super welterweight. He's done great work at that weight, and I hope he doesn't go back down to 154. He needs to campaign either 160 or 168, depending on if he wins or loses. Depending on how that goes and how he feels. But I just feel like he needs to stay at least 160, maybe 168 if he wins the fight, moving forward with his career, because he's big for 154, and I feel like him moving up to take this challenge is probably it was probably time for him to move out of 154, in my opinion. Now, how does speaking of Charlo's resume, let's talk a little bit about Canelo. Canelo has the best resume in boxing, hands down. I don't even think it's close. With that said, though, he should have more than the 2 losses that he has. There's at least three other fights throughout his career he potentially could have and should have lost. But yeah, I just wanted to mention his resume and say that he has the best resume in boxing. Now this fight is very, very interesting because we're seeing Charlo move up 2 weight classes from 154 to 168 to face Canelo. And is Charlo bringing up enough power with him to 168 to get Canelo's respect? Can he get Canelo's respect early with a shot where Canelo says, "Oh snap, I gotta be on point, because if he hits me like this again, could do some damage." Now, if he's not able to get Canelo's respect, Canelo could walk him down, and then at that point, it's only a matter of time before Canelo puts Charlo away. I think that could happen because Canelo's been getting hit by bigger guys for years now. He's been campaigning at 168 and even has a couple of fights at light heavyweight 175, where he fought Kovalev and then he fought Bivol. And then, not to mention the guys he's been fighting at 168. So on the regular, he's been getting hit by bigger guys than Charlo has over the past, few years. Now, for Charlo to win this fight, we're going to need to see him have the fight of his life. He's going to need to box Canelo and try to wear Canelo out. He's going to need to throw a lot of punches because Canelo tends to get tired in the second half of fights. And if Charlo is ready to throw a lot of punches for 12 rounds, if he's able to keep his punch output up there, he could potentially beat Canelo, wear him down, and maybe stop him late. Because, as I mentioned, Canelo does have a stamina problem in the second half of fights. And that's something that is kind of hard to change this late in your career. It's happened multiple times in fights. Could happen again Saturday night. Now, with all that being said, if Charlo is unable to get Canelo's respect, with his power, like I said, we could see the ending kind of like how Caleb Plant and Canelo went. Early, I thought Plant did some good work, but as the fight went on, he didn't have enough power to keep Canelo off of him. Canelo eventually started to walk him down and got him out of there late in the fight. That could happen with Charlo as well. So I think we're going to see the best Canelo that we've seen in years. I think he looks great, at the weigh-in. I think he looks like he has a great camp. I think he's in the best shape he's been in years. And I'm very excited about this fight finally happening. To me, what makes this fight even more exciting is the WBC just mandated Benavidez next. So hopefully whoever wins this fight, well, if Canelo wins the fight, hopefully he takes the Benavidez fight come Cinco de Mayo next year. If Charlo wins this fight, we're probably going to see a rematch in Cinco de Mayo time frame this year. So with all that being said, I'm picking. This is tough because I'm a huge Charlo fan, more so than Canelo. But I mentioned it earlier in the video, if you're still with me, that I've always felt if they're at their best, Canelo is the greater fighter. And because of that reason, I'm picking Canelo Alvarez to win this fight. I'm picking him by decision. I'm going to say 116, 112, or maybe even 115, 113. It's going to be a close fight. It's going to be a really good competitive fight for as long as it lasts, if it goes a distance. Once again, I'm picking Canelo Alvarez by decision, but I would not be surprised if he is able to stop Charlo. If he does stop Charlo, I'm going to say around round 9 or 10. But my safe pick is I'm going with Canelo by decision over Charlo, retaining his status at undisputed at 168. And hopefully that leads to him and David Benavidez come Cinco de Mayo. This has been Reason. Turn up the AC hot takes. Until next time, we're out.